Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, I want to talk a little bit about motivation. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little story. Next weekend is Easter, and the Friday and Monday will be public holidays here in the UK, which gives some people a long weekend. Most people don't really celebrate Easter anymore, partly because, well, no one's really religious these days, but the other reason is because people just prefer to work and take the holiday when it's more suitable for them. Now, on the Friday, which is referred to as Good Friday, we eat a special kind of cake, and that cake is called hot cross bun. Hot cross buns are sweet cakes which we eat on Good Friday, and it's been like that for hundreds of years. It's like a little sweet cake full of sugar, and it has a cross on the top of it. Now, one of our supermarkets has caused outrage because they've decided that they want to take away the cross and put in a tick. Now, you might think, well, who cares? Because, well, we're not really religious anymore. Nobody really cares. But it sparked outrage. And when something sparks outrage, well, that simply means that nobody likes it, and some people are very angry. It's been a little bit politicized, and one of our political parties is saying, well, we want old Britain back, we want a protection of British things. So they're obviously trying to associate these hot cross buns with British culture or British politics somehow. Whatever your views on this, I suppose it's not really important because the cakes are delicious. And for me personally, whether the cake has a cross on it or a tick, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But for some people, they're getting very, very upset. The supermarket has responded by saying, well, we asked our customers what they wanted, and they told us that they wanted a tick on the bun instead of a cross. A bun is what we refer to when we talk about little cakes. They look like scones, but the texture is very different. A bun is just a small cake that we make sometimes on special occasions. It's very unlikely that people told them, well, we prefer a tick instead of a cross. I mean, who would even think of that? Anyway, the supermarket has apologized and it said, well, we haven't really made a decision to change it, but they are selling them. And it shows maybe just how secular Britain is becoming, but also how uncomfortable some people are with that. From my point of view, I suppose, well, it doesn't really matter if it's a cross or a tick on the cake, because the cake is delicious and I would eat it anyway. I'm not really sure, though, the significance of all of this. Some people are yearning for the past, maybe some people yearning for something that they once believed, maybe, or maybe people just don't want change. I'm not sure, but it does highlight something, and that is that you can't just go and change a tradition which is hundreds of years old. Also, If you're very comfortable with your lack of belief and your traditions, why would you feel the need to change it? That's another big question. Okay, so nobody practices religion, nobody really cares. So why is there a need to change it? What are they trying to push there? It's a very strange thing. And maybe the worst point of all of this is that the word tick is not a very nice word in English. You know, a tick is when the school teacher puts a mark next to your sentence to show it's correct. If it's wrong, he puts a cross, and if it's right, he puts a tick. But a tick has another word in English. I mean, the word tick has another meaning. And I want to tell you what that is. A tick is also a small fly that you can find on your dog or cat. You know those little insects that sometimes live on the skin of your dog, and you have to buy some special shampoo to get rid of it? That's also a tick. For example, every month, Amazon, because I've ordered it, they send me a little, well, it's like a little bottle for my cat. And I have to put it on his neck, and it cleans away any ticks which might be there. A tick, a flea, an insect, it's all the same. So when I hear the words hot tick buns, I think, ooh, ticks. Oh, no, no. You don't want any of them in your house because they sound disgusting. So that's another reason why hot tick buns don't sound particularly attractive. Let's move on and talk about motivation. Now, one thing which this supermarket said was we want to do the right thing by our customers. Now, doing the right thing is something which many people get very confused about when they start talking about being motivated to learn. We're all taught that you have to sit in a classroom, face the front, shut up, have an open book, have a pen in your hand, while a teacher walks around staring at people and telling them to behave. That's how many of us grew up. And so when it comes to learning a language, many of us think, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. Does this mean getting a table, a chair, a pen, and sitting there for an hour a day? Oh no, no. What a horrible thought. It doesn't have to be like that. Actually, these days, learning is much more simple. You can learn by talking. You can learn passively. And these days, language is absolutely everywhere. If your TV is like mine, you just turn it on and you're going to find something in another language. Even your smartphone. I can guarantee you that with 5 clicks or less, you'll be streaming something from the English speaking world. So we no longer have to go through that horrible ritual of being punished by a teacher and sitting in a classroom with an open book, being so afraid that we don't know what to write. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Teacher Joseph, if learning is so easy, why can't I do it easily? Well, it's probably because of a few reasons. One reason is time management. Most of us these days are so busy that we really don't know how to manage our time. Well, the second reason is because we probably don't have the right learning materials. Some of us just jump right in and we buy a book that's way above our learning level, then realize that even to find the meaning of a sentence can take hours. There's other people who buy things that are too easy, and although they're very proud of themselves for being able to get through a whole English book, they realize that they've not actually learned very much. They're just going over the basics. So how do we do it then? I mean, how do we push ourselves forward to get to the next level in a way that's using our time effectively? I think the answer lies with passion and creativity. Passion plus creativity equals the perfect English lesson. Now, again, if you think back to your school days, you were told, no, 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 academia is more important. You sacrifice how you feel for the purposes of the book and the greater good of the school and the classroom. Those days have gone. These days, it's the complete opposite. You don't sacrifice anything. You tap into your natural gifts and powers. The things which bring you joy are the things which hold the key to your learning. Now, let's say, for example, that you love fish. I do too, I think they're delicious. But let's say, for example, you love fish because you like the aquarium. You like to put fish in your aquarium, you like to watch them swimming. Naturally, for you, it's something which you love. So, why would you not use that as a starting point for your English? After all, you do love it. So, automatically, it brings about an energy which you can create with. Now, let's just put that another way. The book that the teacher gave you, or the book that you bought to learn English with, is a dry grammar book. Or worse still, it's a book about the war, and you hate the war. So, which of those two things are more attractive for you? Using creativity, your knowledge, and your love for aquariums, or learning about the war because the teacher told you to, with that new book you bought only because it was in English. It's a lot to think about, isn't it? But it's not so hard. So you tap into your natural passion. From there, you begin to create. And before you know it, you have a list of words which you want to learn because they're relevant. And that is how you start learning alone. Where a teacher comes in is you simply get a teacher to hold you accountable. You tell the teacher what your goals are. The teacher is going to ask you questions like, did you read that book about the aquarium? What words did you learn? Which ones were new? And more importantly, did you enjoy it? This is how you should be operating your English learning. You have the teacher there who's holding you accountable. You also have your personal interests which push you forward. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can ask a teacher to give you a book to help you. But remember, teachers aren't mind readers. If you don't tell us what you want or what works for you, nothing is going to change. So there we are. Those are some hints and tips if you're looking at working without a teacher. Okay. Get a teacher who's going to hold you accountable, not do the work for you. He's going to be asking you what you're doing, how you're using your time, whether you think you're moving forward, and you are going to be choosing material which inspires you, stuff you're passionate about, instead of the old way where you're given a book and you learn to hate it. Now, if you are learning English and you do really have a thing for discipline, many of us, we want the teacher to discipline us. You will behave, you will arrive on time. If you're looking for that kind of teacher, those days have gone. But you'd be better to choose a teacher in your own country because they would be more familiar with how you were taught in the past. However, in the West these days, everything is all about person-centered learning, how the person feels, what the person responds to, and that's more than likely the way you'll be taught. From my experience of e-learning and e-learning on different platforms, you'll probably find that most of the teachers, we do have materials we can give you, but most of the people we find on e-learning are people who have already been learning. They know what they want. They don't just come with nothing and say, okay, teach me. They're looking for encouragement. They're looking for something more. And that's why teachers in e-learning, because it's one-to-one, we tend to be more like psychologists. We're kind of looking inside your head, saying, okay, what's happening for you? Why aren't you learning? Well, that's all I wanted to say today. I hope you found this useful. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.